Hi, my name is Isa Valdez, and welcome to Evolve the podcast. Each week, I will give you tips and tricks on how you can start a business, make it successful, and keep it going. Listen to my journey as I become a self-made entrepreneur at 36 and counting. Welcome back to Evolve the podcast, and this is your host, Isa Valdez. And I want to say thank you all for continuing to listen. All of you who are listening from Tanzania and Poland and Kenya and the Bahamas and the United States of America, I just want to say thank you again for keeping your ears peeled and your notifications on to the podcast. I just have one favor. If you would just rate the podcast and give me 5 stars, that would do me well. That would go a long way. And if you haven't gotten caught up with all of the episodes, I would want you to listen to every one of them. They are each pieces of the puzzle to the entire landscape of things. And so today's podcast is the favor that came along with the vision. In my last episode, I talked about all of the people that have listened to me and allowing me and giving me the opportunity to use their skill set for, building the business. And ironically, every Friday, I'm going to interview on Facebook Live the persons who have helped me along the way. So I want you to absolutely keep your ears peeled and your notifications on for my weekly interviews. But I'm still on the podcast. I'm still on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and TuneIn. So I want you to like and share it too, Listen and rate it for me, please. So the favor that came along with opening up a radio station and doing it just the way that I got instruction for, I was following a manual per se or a blueprint. And I believe that when you set out to do something, especially if it's by design, I believe that everything will begin to fall into place. And I call it favor because it just seemed as if everything, began to align strategically for the radio station to become a reality, and we are open. We've been open now for the last 12 years. And I would say favor is something that, you hear people say, the cliche about favor not being fair. And I want to say that when one decides to put something in plan and work the plan, everything begins to materialize just as it's supposed to. I believe that when you decide that this vision is going to come to life, everything comes together. I think it was Oprah Winfrey. When you desire to put something into practice, the whole entire universe conspires together to bring it to life. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that when the Lord has asked you to do it, I believe that He begins to align you with the right people at the right time to bring it to fruition. So I want to say to you today that favor will come along with your vision. And the Bible says that God gives us the ability to obtain wealth. And so that means to me that that wealth may not be only monetary, but it also would be with people putting their skill sets to work for you to bring something to life. And I believe in dreaming big. I believe that you should dream as big as your imagination can carry you. And when you begin to dream big, the favor comes along with it. The favor, because people see your tenacity and they begin to buy into what it is that you want to see happen. So let's just, for the sake of argument, you want to build a luxury liner riverboat and you've never done it before, never, ever, ever done it. Let's just say the Lord said, I want you to get into the riverboat business. I want you to build a riverboat and I want you to sell tickets to go on it. And you have no knowledge, but you begin to move into action. And so what happens then? People will begin to say things around you that they may have already said before, but then now it's catching your ear, right? So they'll tell you where to get steel from. They'll tell you who are the best welders. They'll tell you the place where you could get it fabricated. They'll say, oh, by the way, I know of some hulls that that people have built and just left there, or I know of some big old pipes, and it just, and these may have been conversations going on before, but when you begin to put into action the plan, it all happens. So I want you to dream as big as you would ever want to dream. And I'd want you to put into plan. And I want you to practice that. I want you to practice whatever it is that you're supposed to do. If you're supposed to build a multiplex meaning like movie theater, if you're supposed to start a business in your city, on your island, whatever that business is, I want to encourage you and I want to even tug on you a little bit more and to stretch you, to make you to understand that once you put into practice all of the steps that I've already said from episode 1 to right now, business planning, finding the right people, and as kingdom citizens, right? And people who want to see the Lord's work fulfilled in the earth, I believe that we should dream as big as God is, or even bigger than we could ever imagine, because we can't begin to fathom how the vastness of this earth is, or the stars and the planets and everything around us. And that's just how big you can dream. My mother used to tell me, reach for the stars, just dream for this, reach for the stars. And that I took along with me throughout my whole life, because you can't achieve great things in life if you are not prepared to put some work into exactly what it is that you're supposed to do. And I'm talking to myself as well, because when I started this podcast, so afraid. It took me months to start it. And then when I started, I just couldn't stop. I went as far as even going on Facebook Live, and I said to myself, oh my goodness, who's this lady? Where does she come from? Who does she think she is? And that was a testament to the success of what is about to happen. When you second guess and you have a little bit of fear, or you anxious, I want to implore upon you to push past all of it, because it's for someone else. Your journey, your life, the favor that you have encountered is not only for you, it's for other people as well. My latest guest, who was on my Friday Facebook Live program, his name is Deshaun Smith. Now, when I started moving the pieces and the puzzles together to bring the radio station to fruition, I reached out to Deshaun, and he was a part of my business plan. At the time, he had just graduated from college, and he was an architect and a draftsman with, whatever country you're listening from. He was in his 20s. I told him what I wanted, and he designed the whole layout of the radio station for me. And even though at the beginning I was like, where am I going to get this money to pay him? He gave me a bill. Eventually I gave him, the monies towards the bill, but he did it all for me at no charge. He did it for me at no charge. But I will tell you this, and this is coming back to everything will begin to align. So how did I find this spot? So I was driving around town one day. I had just gotten back from church, and I pulled up to this building, and the guy said to me, we have offices upstairs too, And I said, really? I don't know who the person was. I've never seen him after that day. He said, if you walk around the building, you would see the 2-story, and there are offices upstairs. And it was a Sunday. I walked around the back because the gate was open. And when I walked around the back of the building, there stood the tallest tower that one would ever want to see. I had not seen a tower before because I know I've traveled on that road, and I'm sure I've been to the business establishment, which was like right next door. But this was the location aligned just for me, just for Dove 103.7 FM. I mean, it was every single piece began to fall into place. And so if you take my story and you apply it to your life, I would say your great vision will absolutely come to pass. You have to set yourself in a position to listen to instructions because sometimes we don't listen. And when I say listen, I mean listen to the experts, listen to everybody in your circle. No naysayers now, because if your vision is so big, you cannot share it with someone who has no vision at all, because, that's another episode. But however, my best advice to you is write down your vision and make it plain because it will speak for you. You just have to move. You have to take the first step, and everything and everyone will begin to align themselves to you to bring the vision to pass. I promise you, it worked for me. Like I said in my previous podcast, I have never been in a position like that before because at that point, I wasn't working, I had no money, and I set into motion the desire of God for what He wanted for my life. And I began to set that into motion. And when I began to set that into motion, I just watched certain things align and just play right out. And I want to encourage you as well. Just write your vision down and make it plain and watch the favor that will come along with it. Because I promise you, the favor will come along with the journey. It absolutely will, because it has to. We are vessels in the earth to do the things that we're supposed to do, to align, to make money, to bless, to help others, to fund visions, to fund dreams, to dig wells. These are the things that we're supposed to do. Take care of the homeless, take care of the orphans and the widows. And so we need money to do that. And so, again, I want to encourage you to dream big and understand what that favor would look like when you begin to put your plan into motion. So, my next episode, I am going to drop as soon as this one is dropped. So, I want you to keep your ears peeled and your notification buttons on. And don't forget to press the star button to number 5. I want you to rate my podcast so that everybody could hear exactly how great of an adventure that I was on. And I'm taking you guys for the journey. And remember, this was about 12 years ago. And so I just wanted to let everybody know to dream big. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode. Hi, my name is Isa Valdez, and each week I will give you tips and tricks on how you can start a business, make it successful, and keep it going. Listen to my journey as I become a self-made entrepreneur at 36 and counting.